Today on my weekly recap, we're going to discuss my runs for the last 2 weeks, give a little insight for the films that I have planned for 2018, and give you a little motivation for your week. Thank you for checking out this week's 5-Minute Week, where I recap my week in training, talk about a few things that are coming up in the future for me in less than 5 minutes. This video may be a little longer than 5 minutes because, as you can tell from the title of this video, it's actually from the last 2 weeks. Last week was the Super Bowl, and I wasn't able to record because we actually had a Super Bowl party, and I usually record on Sunday afternoons, evenings after my run in church and stuff, and just was super busy, wasn't able to get down and actually make the video, so I do apologize for being behind, but fear not, we will go over the training for the last 2 weeks. As always, the trainings will be here on the side. I'll first show the first week, which would have been week 5, and then this week as in week 6. Week 5 was kind of a redemption week. The 4th week of the month, the end of January, was kind of just a rough month for me, a rough week for me. I just didn't feel like the miles were clicking off. I just felt stiff, and it just really wasn't a good week. I talked about it in the video, that it just felt really blah, and I didn't know what was going on. It was definitely a redemption week. Had great runs throughout the week and midweek. Finished it up with an amazing 3-hour run with the guys and gal, Renee was there as well, or just around Delaware. I actually ran to Mark Carroll's house. He's one of the race directors for the Possum Race Series. Met a few people there, John, Keith, and Renee, and we did a nice little country route in Delaware, went out Curve Road, went out into the country, and it was a pretty fun time running with all of them. They are much better runners than me. So it definitely pushed me a little harder than I probably would have pushed myself, but it's exactly what I needed. It was a great 3-hour run. I think I got just under 18 miles in, and then finished the week, with just a recovery run. This week was kind of the same thing. It felt like a really good week in running. The weather here in Ohio, though, has just been real crappy lately. The cold, I don't mind. Snow, I don't mind. But we've been getting a lot of ice and freezing rain, which has definitely made it tough to run. As you see here early in the week, I actually just decided to go to the gym. Actually, that was on Thursday. I went to the gym. Tuesday, I had fallen again. I ran to the gym and ran home from the gym, as I have been doing. And on the way out, everything felt fine. It was a little slick, but nothing I couldn't handle or muster up. And on the way back, I was running a little bit behind, so I was trying to push a little harder, and I just didn't even see this ice. I went completely airborne, landed on my wrist and my elbow, so I kind of braced myself here, but bracing myself, it was a kind of a decline. Slammed my elbow into the ground. It's still a little sensitive. It's no issues, range of motion, stuff like that, but definitely scary to fall again. I mean, I've never fallen, and in the past month I've fallen twice, so it's trying to be smarter about my runs and where I'm running, and trying to figure out the best way to do that when it is these freezing rains. I won't do a treadmill, so I want to get the miles outside. How can I do that in a safe manner? My long run on Saturday, John and I actually went down to run with the folks of Sin City Running Company down in Mason, Ohio. We were doing a live podcast down in Cincinnati, actually at Taft's Ale House. Don't want to get that wrong. But we met the running crew up in Mason, did a cool 14-mile loop around Mason, saw some of their cool parks. It was super hilly, definitely much different than we're used to here, flatter ground here with a couple occasional hills. It was probably rolling hills most of the time, but it was a really good run, felt really good. Towards the end, John was having some stomach issues, so we slowed down quite a bit, but it was still nice to get a decent run in. I'm technically in that taper mode heading into the 50K in just a few weeks. And then this morning, talking about that freezing rain, we had freezing rain overnight, and because of that freezing rain, everything was slick. All of the roads were slick, so I initially set out to run for an hour, but once I got out, I realized it was just a little sloshy, so I just took it slow, just did a nice little 4-mile route that, try to keep myself safe. I didn't want to slip and fall yet again. I went twice in a week and 3 times in a month, so yeah, that was the last 2 weeks. I mean, they've been really good training. Feeling really good. My legs are feeling really strong. I think helping mix in the workouts. I'm doing that Strong Lift still, that app that I recommended a few weeks ago. Can't speak highly enough of it, but the runs are doing really, really well, and I'm really looking forward to the next few weeks going into the 50K. So speaking of the 50K, that is in just 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks when this video comes out, over in Maryland. Hopefully they have some decent weather. I was watching some past videos, and I think 2 years ago they had like 8 inches of snow on the trail. I'm not wanting that. I'm wanting at least where I can wear shorts and hopefully not too much stuff on the trails. The trails aren't covered that much, so a lot of the weather is going to sit on the trails, but they're covered just enough that it's not going to melt as fast. So I haven't been checking the weather out there, but I'm going to start looking at that this week. Another thing I'm doing this week is finishing my New York City Marathon blog. Yes, I know I said I was going to get those out a lot faster this year, and I've just been behind trying to catch up on everything else, and just about priority of time. But I'm going to get that written, finished this week. It's almost completed, so we can share my New York experience and then really work with getting every new race, getting the blog out within a week of the race. One more thing that I'm planning this week is actually outlining the plan for 2018, the films that I'm making. I have a couple film ideas that I just need to reach out to specific parties and see if they are still interested in making these films. I've got a few stories, a few little fun ideas, really just to bring the running community together and then really start working on a bigger project. My 5-year goal is to actually have some sort of full feature-length documentary around running, whether it's someone's individual story or just running as a whole, or I really haven't decided what I want to do with it, but I definitely would like to just take on that endeavor. I know there's a lot to it, but I'm just up for the challenge and really want to just get better in my filmmaking, and stretching these goals and stretching my limits is definitely going to do that. But thank you to everyone that is supporting me on Patreon and helping my films grow. I've seen tons of support there, so I really do appreciate it. You can visit my Patreon page. I'll have a link in the description below where you can join as a patron and get some pretty cool behind the scenes stuff, and then some first looks at some films that'll be coming out later this year. All right, this week for our Monday motivation, I have a quote from Henry Ford. Yes, the Henry Ford. It says, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." I think back to this as when I've had some bonked races or runs that didn't go my way. It's not necessarily a failure in some people's cases, but to me it was a failure. I didn't just hit my goal, so I failed to get the goal. But what that helps me do is it helps me take a step back and really evaluate, all right, what can I do and how can I change the outcome by changing small things? Did I not drink as much as I should? Did I not eat as much as I should? Did I not listen to someone I should have listened to? Taking all of these things into account will definitely make a more intelligent decision for the next time you do it. And by all means, always put in next time. Failure is just a stepping stone. Don't use failure as a reason to stop doing anything. Keep pushing on, and just make sure you're achieving the goals you want to hit. You know what you're capable of, and I would say you're capable than even more than just that. But that's really it. Just wanted to give a real quick snapshot of everything that's happened in the last few weeks. Thank you again for checking out this video and supporting the channel as well. If you did like this video, I'd love if you give it a thumbs up and also consider subscribing with the subscribe button. I think it's down here. Now YouTube keeps changing, but I think it's right down here. I'd love if you would join as a subscriber. As always, you can follow me on all the socials at jflow714. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Remember to take one step at a time and keep running with purpose. We'll see you guys next time.